Alright, Redneck, sadly, it is October 29th today, and on October 31st, the dunes close, so we got to get these tires inflated. I have some coolant I'm going to put in this thing, and then we're going to remove the seats. This thing is being brought over to my buddy's house, and we're going to store it in a barn for the winter, so it's sad to see this thing go, but I need the room for my winter beater, which actually a couple days ago I got out of storage. This is one of two winter beaters. I have a lifted Honda hatchback. You guys are gonna enjoy that, so I'll have to do a video on that. But yeah, let's get this. Let's get these tires inflated, and let's get this coolant put in the truck.
But your heart's colder. I will wait for you. The glitch in your eyes pulled me under, but I will wait for you.
Alright, I guess I should go over why we are pulling the seats. The reason we're pulling these is because where I'm going to be storing this is in kind of an open pole barn, so mice can get in. I don't want them nesting in my seats, so easiest thing for me to do is I'm going to pull the seats out of this, and then I'm going to throw the seats in the basement of my house. That way, when the beginning of next year comes, I can reinstall them and they won't be rat infested, so worth a few minutes to pull them.
There's nothing left for me to do than run and act myself a fool. No point in trusting anyone. Your eyes of diamonds keep me up with the thought that it could be this rough. No point in trusting anyone.
There's a lot of sand in the tracks of these things. I don't like moving. Alright, I'm going to leave those two bolts in. That way when we get to my buddy's house, I can unload it off the trailer, quick pull them two bolts, throw the seat in my truck, and bring it back home. So yeah, let's get this other stuff done. We got to get the tires inflated, and then we're going to put the coolant in the radiator. So yeah, you don't want your radiator freezing. Actually, it's more your block. If you have just water in your block and it freezes, it will crack your block. That will be no bueno. You don't want that. That means your motor's done. So that's a very important step we got to do. So let's get these tires inflated, and then we will fill that radiator. Alright guys, here's a fun one. This is my dad's old compressor. Now I remember as a kid using this thing a lot when I was building projects, and obviously I got my newer one back here, my Craftsman. And my Tahoe also has onboard air, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of fire this thing back up. I'm going to end up giving it to my buddy Kyle. If he doesn't want it, I'm going to end up throwing it away. But first thing we need to do is this adapter. It doesn't work for any of my air tools, so we're going to get that changed out. We're going to fire it up, and we're going to see if we can inflate these tires with it. It's going to take me back. I like it. Alright guys. I couldn't find any parts, so I superheated it, and as you can see, it's moving. There we go. Now, this thing's hot as snot. I would never recommend heating one of these things up to remove them because there's O-rings in here and some moving parts, but as you can see, this collar's not only frozen, this is supposed to be up. I don't even know if they make this style anymore, so it's garbage anyway. So let's get the new style on and let's test this thing out. Don't tell them, guys. Nothing says quality like Harbor Freight. This may sound stupid, but I have no idea if that thing works, and changing this end out without knowing that, not the brightest thing, but I have confidence that this thing will work. Now, I don't know, I don't see anything on it. There is a drain, okay. So this thing's supposed to have oil in it. Now, I have no idea where the plug is. Check the oil level. Obviously, we have a drain port. There's a vent here. If this is some sort of dipstick, it's definitely broke off or something's wrong. So I'm just gonna assume there's oil in there. Let's see if we can wipe this tag off. I'm not sure what kind of compressor this even is. Ooh, that's some thick grease. They're getting there. Let me get another rag and some cleaning supplies. I like that. Made in the good old USA. So, if I can read this right, it is a Wayne model number 860-U. And it is model number 6181. So, yeah, let's plug this thing in and see if she chooches. And then we'll try to inflate my tires. Here we go. Well, guys. Yeah, we're not running that one. It's easy to say. I'm not gonna run this. As you can see, the tank has a hole in it. It turned on, which was surprising. I liked how quiet it was, but yeah, with a hole in the tank, you ain't gonna get very far. That's the pretty much end of this thing. I ain't running it obviously with a broken tank. That's all we need is a huge explosion, which for you guys would be entertaining, but for me, I need some sort of blast shield, that's for sure. So that's unfortunate. I was looking forward to doing that, but looks like we are gonna have to get my mine out, my Craftsman. So darn it all, I wanted to be nostalgic.
It's cold, but your heart's colder. I will wait for you. The glitch in your eyes pulled me under, but I will wait for you. There's nothing left for me to do than run and act myself a fool. No point in trusting anyone. Your eyes of diamonds keep me up. Never thought that it could be this rough. No point in trusting anyone.
Alright guys, in the state of Michigan, coolant is considered non-toxic, but it is still considered hazardous, so you want to collect as much of it as you can. And you can dispose of it at any auto parts store. Most landfills will have it. I noticed also, if you look here, look at all the corrosion buildup on where my hose plugs into. So I'm going to chip that stuff away, and yeah, all I'm trying to do is, we got a full strength coolant, which is means it's straight coolant. It's not a 50-50 mix. So all I have to do is drain half of the radiator, or as much as I can. I think I've got more than half, but I'm just trying to thicken the mixture so over the winter this block don't crack. So yeah, let's get that connection piece cleaned back up right here. Get that hose put back on and fill it with coolant, and then we can get this thing loaded. Alright, got the connection cleaned up and back on, and then what I did over here is I took the upper coolant hose off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my reservoir right there with coolant until it starts coming out here, and then I'll put this hose back on and then fill the reservoir up with what's left, and that should be good to go. Then I'm going to start the vehicle, let it run for a little bit so it cycles it, because I got rear heat in this. And how you tell is you got coolant hoses right here. These actually run down. This is your heater, your dash heater core lines, and then it just tees in right here, goes down, and that goes all the way along your frame, and then all the way to the back box right here. So I need to not only make sure my block don't freeze, but my radiator and my rear heater core and my front heater core. So I'm going to cycle all my heats, let this thing run for a bit, get it all cycled up, and then load it. So let's get this thing filled up. Alright guys, as you can see, our temp's coming up. I got good heat coming out of the front and out of the roof vents. I got good heat, so we're going to get this thing loaded. I'm pretty confident the coolant has made it all the way through. So let's get it loaded on the trailer.
The pitch in your eyes will meander, but I will wait for you.
There's nothing left for me to do than run and act myself a fool. No point in trusting anyone. Your eyes of diamonds keep me up. Never thought that it could be this rough. No point in trusting anyone.
Alright, good tip for you guys. If you're storing your vehicle in the winter in a barn or something, take some dryer sheets and place them. Obviously, if you had seats, you want to put them in the seats, put them on the floor. Definitely under the engine bay. A lot of mice like to chew on this wiring here, so you want to wrap some around some of them, which I'll obviously be doing. Some of my major concern spots are obviously the visor and headliner, so we'll make sure to tuck a few in there. I'll get some in there, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So there you go, guys. Some of the more important wiring obviously is your injector wires, your spark plug wires. Get them around your battery. Just place them all around the engine bay in general. And then as far as like your headliner goes, I got some in here. I just kind of stuffed them on. You can't really tell a whole lot, it's dark in here, but yeah, stuff some in your vents. Stuff them in spots like there's one right there in the corner and one right there, because mice like to run along the edge of things, so I figured get them right along the corners there, and yeah, hopefully that'll stop them from wanting to nest in the truck over the winter. So good tip for you guys. Alright guys, I want you to meet my buddy Phil here. built this thing probably 5 years ago, and as a joke, and my buddy ended up keeping it, so he's got it up here in his front yard, and it's still standing. I'm pretty impressed. So, all right, guys, its legs are made of front struts. And then we got a Y pipe welded to a resignator with a muffler on top with a nice looking face. He's a little hillbilly there, missing one of his teeth. And then lower front control arms off of a random car. I don't know what any of this is off of, but that's what Phil consists of. Get him, Ratchet. He's fierce. It's pretty good to see this thing again. See you, Phil.
He's missing a tooth.
There you have it, guys. The Baja Burban is put away for the winter. I have a little bit of cleaning to do. I'd like to get the top of my box cleaned off. Obviously, we got to get all these seats out of here, clean up that mess over there. But it's going to be weird opening this door and not seeing that thing sitting in here. But I got some projects here for the winter, and I think you guys will be excited about some of them. So I want to thank my friend Kyle again for doing that for me. He's actually a viewer of my channel, so if you'd put thanks Kyle down in the comments, that'd be kind of cool for him to see. But I'm gonna buy you lunch, buddy. That's awesome that you were doing that for me, storing the Baja Burban. So that's awesome. I really appreciate it. So yeah, hopefully you guys like the video. Hit the like button down below if you did. Leave me a comment. Thank Kyle in the comment section, and you know what to do. Get back to work.